Here's a rephrased and expanded version of the Blue Ring Pathfinder script, now over 200 words and paced for more than 1 minute of narration. The Blue Ring Pathfinder is an advanced orbital transfer vehicle that represents the next stage in how we operate and maintain spacecraft in orbit. Often described as a space tug, its primary role is to move satellites from one orbit to another, helping them travel from their initial deployment point to their precise operational orbit. This capability is essential because many satellites are released in transfer orbits after launch, and getting them to the right location can make the difference between a fully functional mission and wasted investment. By handling this delicate process, the Blue Ring Pathfinder plays a vital role in extending the usefulness and efficiency of space missions. But the Pathfinder goes far beyond simple relocation. Thanks to its rendezvous and docking systems, it is capable of performing more advanced tasks such as in-orbit refueling, satellite servicing, and even debris removal, an increasingly urgent challenge as Earth's orbit becomes more crowded. Its modular design means it can be customized for specific missions, whether serving commercial operators who want to prolong satellite lifespans, or government agencies focused on orbital logistics and security. In short, the Blue Ring Pathfinder isn't just another spacecraft. It's a multi-purpose tool designed to keep the growing space economy sustainable and efficient. By making satellites more versatile, repairable, and longer-lasting, it could reshape how we think about building and operating in space, paving the way for a future where orbital infrastructure is not only launched, but actively maintained and upgraded. Do you want me to shape this script more like a documentary narration or more like a YouTube tech explainer with an exciting tone? Here's your rephrased and extended script for far future space travel, expanded to over 200 words and paced for more than 1 minute of narration. The vision of far future space travel represents nothing less than a paradigm shift in human exploration, a leap that would take us from the familiar frontiers of our solar system into the uncharted realms of interstellar space. Today, our technology allows us to send probes to distant planets and even to the edge of the solar system. But in the distant future, humanity may develop the means to journey to other stars, transforming what was once science fiction into lived reality. One possibility lies in the idea of the warp drive, a concept that bends the very fabric of space-time, allowing a spacecraft to travel vast distances without being constrained by the speed of light. Another promising avenue is the fusion-powered rocket, which would harness the same energy source that powers the stars to provide immense thrust, efficiency, and speed, far beyond anything chemical rockets could achieve. These advancements would open the door to interstellar voyages that could last decades or even generations. Such missions would not be limited to robotic probes. They may one day carry human crews supported by closed-loop life support systems and vast artificial habitats capable of sustaining life for centuries. Entire generations could be born, live, and die aboard these vessels, creating what some call generation ships, floating civilizations in their own right. The motivations for such bold ventures would be profound: the search for habitable exoplanets, the discovery of alien life, and ultimately the long-term survival of our species. By spreading across the stars, humanity would ensure its continuity and resilience, becoming a truly multi-stellar civilization. This leap forward would not only expand our horizons, but also redefine our place in the universe, taking us from dreamers gazing at the night sky to explorers who live among the stars, turning the impossible into the inevitable. Do you want me to keep the cinematic storytelling tone like this for all your upcoming scripts, or would you prefer a neutral documentary-style narration? Over the course of 5 days in space, the crew conducted nearly 40 experiments, focusing on critical challenges for future exploration. They studied radiation exposure, the effects of microgravity on human health, and the risks of decompression while traveling through the hazardous Van Allen radiation belts. In a defining moment of the mission, Isaacman and Gillis stepped outside Dragon to perform the first ever private spacewalk. Outfitted in SpaceX's next-generation EVA suits, they tested technology designed to one day support astronauts on the Moon and Mars. The mission also pioneered laser-based Starlink communications, demonstrating high-speed data transfer between spacecraft and Earth, a breakthrough for future deep space missions. After pushing the boundaries of altitude, science, and technology, Resilience returned safely, splashing down in the Gulf of Mexico. Polaris Dawn proved that private spaceflight is no longer a distant dream. It is now a driving force of innovation, achieving feats once reserved for national space agencies and paving the way for the next era of exploration. Want me to also expand these with a touch more cinematic build-up, like opening with humanity's journey into space and ending with a forward-looking note to future Polaris missions? That would make each script feel even more documentary-grade cinematic. Here's a rephrased and expanded script for NASA's X-59, stretched beyond 220 words, written in a smooth, documentary-style narration. NASA's X-59 QuEST, short for Quiet Supersonic Technology, is an experimental aircraft designed to tackle one of aviation's greatest challenges, the deafening sonic boom. Built in partnership with Lockheed Martin, the X-59 is envisioned as a revolutionary step toward making supersonic passenger flights practical not just over oceans, but directly over land. Unlike traditional supersonic jets that create loud, thunderous booms when they break the sound barrier, the X-59 has been engineered to produce only a gentle thump, barely more disruptive than a car door closing in the distance. This is achieved through its unusual and elegant design. With a long, needle-like nose, carefully sculpted fuselage, and an engine mounted on top of the aircraft, shockwaves are spread out and diffused before they can merge into a loud explosion of sound. At 94 feet in length, the aircraft is powered by a General Electric F414 GE100 engine, allowing it to cruise at Mach 1.4, that's over 1,000 miles per hour, while soaring at altitudes of 55,000 feet. Instead of the typical cockpit window, pilots rely on an external vision system, a sophisticated setup of high-resolution cameras projecting real-time imagery onto displays, ensuring precise visibility and control. NASA plans to begin flight tests in 2025, followed by community overflights where residents will provide feedback on how the quieter sonic thumps are perceived. The data will be shared globally, with the ultimate goal of reshaping international regulations that currently prohibit commercial supersonic travel over land. If successful, the X-59 could open the door to a future where passengers routinely fly across continents at twice the speed of today's airliners, quietly, efficiently, and without disruption. Would you like me to make this one sound more like a tech explainer for a YouTube audience, or keep it in the serious documentary tone I used here? Here's a fully rephrased and extended version of your Blue Origin's New Glenn script, expanded to over 200 words and paced for a narration longer than 1 minute. Blue Origin's New Glenn represents one of the most ambitious steps forward in the quest to make space more accessible and sustainable. Named after the legendary astronaut John Glenn, the rocket is a reusable heavy-lift launch vehicle designed to handle missions that demand both immense power and cost efficiency. Capable of delivering up to 45 metric tons to low Earth orbit, New Glenn is engineered not just for satellite deployment, but for a wide spectrum of space missions that could ultimately extend humanity's reach deeper into the solar system. At the heart of this powerful machine are its engines. The first stage is driven by 7 BE-4 engines fueled by methane and liquid oxygen, a combination chosen for efficiency, cleaner performance, and reusability. Once in the upper atmosphere, the rocket relies on a pair of BE-3U hydrogen engines, providing the precision and sustained thrust needed for higher orbits and interplanetary trajectories. This dual-engine architecture makes New Glenn versatile enough to support everything from Earth-based satellite networks to deep space exploration probes. The vehicle had its maiden launch in early 2025, successfully proving its orbital capabilities by deploying a test payload. Although its booster recovery attempt did not achieve a full success on that first try, the demonstration highlighted Blue Origin's long-term commitment to perfecting reusability, an innovation critical to lowering launch costs and increasing mission frequency. Looking ahead, New Glenn is expected to play a central role in projects like Amazon's Project Kuiper constellation, NASA's Artemis lunar missions, and even potential Mars-bound explorations. With its combination of scale, reusability, and advanced propulsion, New Glenn isn't just a rocket, it's a stepping stone toward a new era of commercial and scientific expansion beyond Earth. Do you want me to keep the documentary-style tone like this, or make it more cinematic and dramatic for a space-themed video narration? Here's a 200-plus word rephrase narration script for solar sail propulsion, stretched naturally for a smooth 1+ minute delivery. Solar sail propulsion represents one of the most fascinating breakthroughs in the future of space exploration. Unlike traditional rockets that rely on massive amounts of fuel, this technology uses nothing more than sunlight or powerful laser beams as its driving force. A spacecraft designed with a giant, ultra-thin reflective sail can capture the energy of photons streaming from the sun. When these photons strike the sail and bounce off, they transfer tiny amounts of momentum to the spacecraft, creating a gradual but continuous push forward. At first glance, this thrust seems incredibly small compared to the fiery power of chemical rockets. However, the real magic of solar sails lies in their ability to accelerate continuously over long periods of time. Instead of burning fuel for just a few minutes, a solar sail craft can keep gaining speed day after day, year after year, eventually reaching astonishing velocities that rockets simply cannot match. This makes solar sail propulsion especially promising for long-duration missions and even interstellar travel. Scientists believe that lightweight probes equipped with solar sails could reach nearby stars in a matter of decades, rather than the centuries traditional propulsion would require. The best part is that solar sails are lightweight, require no onboard propellant, and could theoretically operate indefinitely as long as there is a source of light. It's a technology that could open entirely new frontiers, making humanity's dream of exploring beyond our solar system far more achievable than ever before. Want me to also make this sound more like a documentary narration script with dramatic pauses and emphasis, or keep it straightforward and educational? Here's a polished Discovery-style narration for Polaris Dawn, about 250 words, perfect for a 2 to 3 minute segment. Polaris Dawn marked a new chapter in the history of human spaceflight. As the first mission of SpaceX's Polaris program, it set bold records and expanded the frontiers of commercial space exploration. Launched on September 10, 2024, aboard a Falcon 9 rocket, the Crew Dragon Resilience carried 4 pioneers: Jared Isaacman, Scott Petit, Sarah Gillis, and Anna Menon. Their destination, an altitude of nearly 1,400 kilometers, the highest Earth orbit achieved since the Apollo era. Here's a rephrased and expanded narration script for the Rockwell C-1057, stretched beyond 220 words and written in a natural storytelling style. The Rockwell C-1057, more commonly known by its nickname the Breadbox Shuttle, was one of the more unusual and creative shuttle concepts to emerge during the early 1970s. At the time, NASA was evaluating dozens of different space shuttle designs, each attempting to balance cost, reusability, and payload performance. Among them, this proposal from North American Rockwell stood out because of its unconventional appearance. Engineer Harry Scott suggested a radical departure from the long, sleek shuttle designs we typically associate with the era. His idea was to shorten the orbiter's overall length without reducing its cargo capacity. To achieve this, he proposed rotating the cargo bay sideways, resulting in a spacecraft that looked far more squat and boxy than its competitors. This unusual geometry quickly earned it the nickname Breadbox, since its silhouette was something far more at home in a kitchen than on a launch pad. On paper, the design was considered aerodynamically workable, but serious integration challenges emerged. The unusual shape made it difficult to pair effectively with the external fuel tank and solid rocket boosters, both essential components of the shuttle system. These problems, combined with NASA's preference for more conventional designs, meant the C-1057 never advanced beyond Phase B studies. Though it was never built or flown, the Rockwell C-1057 remains a fascinating what-if in aerospace history. A reminder of how bold and imaginative the shuttle design process truly was, and how even the strangest concepts contribute to the broader legacy of human spaceflight innovation. Do you want me to give this one a slightly dramatic documentary tone like a space history film, or a more casual storytelling tone, as if explaining to an audience of enthusiasts? Here's a polished 200-plus word discovery-style narration for SpaceX Starship that flows like a documentary voiceover. The SpaceX Starship is more than just a rocket. It is a bold vision for the future of humanity in space. Designed as a fully reusable spacecraft, Starship aims to make access to orbit, the Moon, and even Mars faster, cheaper, and more routine than ever before. When paired with its colossal Super Heavy booster, Starship stands at an astonishing 120 meters tall, making it the tallest and most powerful rocket ever built. Together, the system generates an unprecedented 16.7 million pounds of thrust, dwarfing anything that has come before. With this power, Starship is engineered to carry up to 150 tons of cargo or 100 passengers in a single flight, a capability that could support not only lunar missions, but also the first human settlements on Mars. The spacecraft itself is built from stainless steel, giving it both strength and resilience, while a system of heat shield tiles ensures survival during the fiery descent through Earth's or Mars's atmosphere. Its advanced Raptor engines, fueled by liquid methane and oxygen, are designed with sustainability in mind, fuels that could one day be produced directly on Mars, enabling self-sufficient colonies on another world. For Elon Musk and SpaceX, Starship is not just about exploration, but about making humanity a multiplanetary species. If successful, it could mark the beginning of a new era, where journeys to other worlds are no longer the dream of science fiction, but the reality of human civilization. Do you want me to keep these narrations at around 2 to 3 minutes worth of voiceover, 250 to 300 words, for all upcoming topics so they're consistent in length and style? Here's a polished, expanded script for Virgin Galactic, stretched to over 220 words, smooth, cinematic, and narration-ready. Virgin Galactic, founded in 2004 by entrepreneur Sir Richard Branson, has become one of the most recognized pioneers in the race to bring space travel to everyday people. Its mission is not just about science or exploration, but about opening the skies to those who have always dreamed of experiencing the wonder of space firsthand. At the core of this vision is the company's spaceplane, VSS Unity, which offers passengers a truly unique suborbital journey. The adventure begins as Unity is carried high into the skies, attached beneath its massive mothership, VMS Eve. Once it reaches an altitude of nearly 50,000 feet, Unity detaches and ignites its rocket engine, sending its passengers soaring upward at incredible speed. Within moments, travelers find themselves more than 80 kilometers above Earth, crossing the recognized boundary of space. Here, the roar of the engines fades into silence, gravity releases its grip, and passengers experience several unforgettable minutes of weightlessness. Through the cabin's wide windows, the curvature of Earth stretches out beneath them, a sight few humans have ever seen. The return is as graceful as the ascent. Unity glides back through the atmosphere, descending smoothly to a runway landing in New Mexico, just like a futuristic aircraft. Looking ahead, Virgin Galactic plans to debut its next-generation fleet in 2026, designed for higher flight frequency, greater passenger capacity, and more affordable experiences. With these advances, the dream of space travel is no longer reserved for astronauts alone. It is becoming a reality for people from all walks of life. Would you like me to make this one sound more adventurous and emotional, like a promo for space tourism, or more documentary style, calm and informative? Here's a fully expanded Discovery-style script for the O'Neill cylinder, around 250 words, long enough for a 2 to 3 minute narration. The O'Neill cylinder stands as one of the most ambitious visions for humanity's future beyond Earth. First proposed in the 1970s by physicist Gerard K. O'Neill, this concept reimagines space not as a barren frontier, but as a place where entire civilizations could thrive. At its heart are two enormous counter-rotating cylinders, each about 8 kilometers wide and stretching up to 32 kilometers long. Spinning in opposite directions, these colossal structures generate artificial gravity through centrifugal force, creating an environment where humans could walk, build, and live almost as they do on Earth. Inside, the habitat would be a breathtaking sight. Vast landscapes divided into alternating green farmland, blue lakes, and bright windowed strips. Enormous mirrors outside the station would reflect sunlight into the interior, creating a natural rhythm of day and night. It's a design not just for survival, but for comfort, bringing the familiar rhythms of Earth into the silence of space. The O'Neill cylinder is envisioned as self-sustaining. Solar panels would provide endless energy, while advanced recycling systems would maintain clean air and water. Construction materials could be sourced from the moon or nearby asteroids, reducing the need for costly Earth launches and providing natural protection against cosmic radiation. With the capacity to house millions of people, these megastructures could serve as humanity's first true colonies in space. More than just science fiction, the O'Neill cylinder remains a powerful symbol of what is possible, a future where human civilization extends far beyond Earth, thriving among the stars. Do you want me to give this one a cinematic intro and outro too? Something like opening with "As Earth Grows Crowded" and ending with "Perhaps one day, these cylinders will become humanity's new homes in the cosmos"? Here's a polished 200-plus space for tens of thousands of kilometers. At the far end of the tether, a massive counterweight beyond geostationary orbit would balance the structure, keeping it taut under Earth's rotation. Using electric-powered climbers, spacecraft, satellites, and cargo could ascend the tether, solar power stations to interplanetary launch platforms. Yet the challenges are immense. The tether would need to be built from materials far stronger than anything currently in production. Scientists point to advanced nanotubes and graphene composites as potential candidates, though manufacturing them at scale remains a daunting task. Still, optimism persists. Companies like Obayashi Corporation in Japan have publicly announced long-term goals of constructing a working space elevator by humanity's relationship with space, turning today's daring expeditions into tomorrow's routine commutes. Want me to make the next ones in this inspiring? Or should I add a more cinematic and dramatic flair, like a trailer voiceover? Here's a polished and extended version of the Celeste capsule script, expanded to more than 200 words and timed for over a minute of narration. The Celeste capsule is a groundbreaking creation that blends luxury, sustainability, and innovation in one extraordinary space experience. Designed by the company Zafalto in collaboration with renowned architect Joseph Duran, it is not a rocket-powered craft, but rather a balloon-lifted capsule that offers passengers a smooth and elegant ascent to the edge of space. Capable of carrying 6 guests and 2 pilots, the capsule is lifted gently by a massive stratospheric balloon to an altitude of around 25 kilometers, well above the flight levels of commercial airliners and into the zone where the curvature of the Earth becomes clearly visible. What sets Celeste apart is its focus on comfort and atmosphere. Instead of a sterile utilitarian cabin, the interior has been designed to resemble a tranquil residential space, with a minimalist approach that uses soft shades of cream and beige to create a sense of calm. Expansive panoramic windows wrap around the capsule, giving passengers a breathtaking 360-degree view of the world below, from sparkling blue oceans to the thin glowing line of Earth's atmosphere against the blackness of space. During the journey, guests can unwind in private cabins, savor Michelin-starred gourmet meals, and enjoy a setting that feels closer to a luxury lounge than a spacecraft. Beyond the indulgence, the true highlight is the chance to experience what astronauts call the overview effect. That profound shift in perspective when one sees Earth as a fragile, interconnected world floating in the vastness of space. The Celeste capsule is not only about reaching new heights, but also about transforming the way we experience space travel, making it accessible, eco-friendly, and deeply human-centered. Do you want me to make the tone more elegant and cinematic, like a luxury brand ad, or more engaging and informative, like a space documentary narrator?